Hi everyone, welcome to this presentation on the Paleo Diet and athletic performance. In today's lecture, we are going to do a quick overview of the Paleo Diet. We are going to talk about some of the benefits for the general population, and then we are going to talk about its application in the athletic population and whether or not this diet is in fact appropriate for athletes, and if so, which kinds of athletes and which times in their training cycles. Let's go ahead and get started. The premise of the paleo diet is to return human beings to what is considered their natural state of subsistence, meaning when most human beings were hunting and gathering in order to feed themselves. Anything that involves farming or processing is prohibited on this diet, and this notion stems from the reasoning that we were evolved to eat this way. The diet is often promoted to be effective for a lot of different health markers. This chart is a quick overview of the paleo diet. Here are your do's. Meat such as red and white meat, chicken, fish, beef, that's all okay. Fruits and vegetables are all okay, minus any sort of legumes. Nuts, seeds, and eggs, and healthy oils such as coconut or olive oil. Any sort of processed foods, grains, cereals, or dairy, or sugar or vegetable oils are prohibited on the paleo diet. There are no specific macronutrient or caloric goals for this diet. However, it is estimated that the intakes of macronutrients are approximately 40% fat, 30% carbohydrate, and 30% protein based on which foods are available. Carbohydrates tend to be from low glycemic index or low energy availability sources. This becomes very relevant for our athletic population, but may actually be a positive for somebody who is otherwise sedentary or a non-athlete. Overall, the diet is rich in micronutrients, high in fruits and vegetables, high in fiber, low in sugar, low in sodium, and involves a limited intake of processed foods. This can lead to health benefits such as improved glycemic control, increased appetite control, decreases in oxidative stress, and decreases in circulating triglycerides. Let's discuss the nutrition needs of endurance athletes. Carbohydrates should range from 8 to 12 grams per kilogram per day, protein from 1.2 to 2.0 grams per kilogram per day, and fats should comprise 20 to 35% of total calories. Overall, these athletes require a high carbohydrate intake, timed protein intake, moderate in fats, and carbohydrate loading strategies surrounding races and games. For strength and power athletes, this differs just slightly. Carbohydrate intake ranges from 5 to 8 grams per kilogram per day, protein intake from 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram per day, and fat intake should be the same. Nutrient timing is key, as is making sure that the athlete is consuming protein sources high in leucine. Carbohydrate is needed for intermittent athletes such as soccer players or rugby players to get them through games. So again, high energy availability carbohydrates, and whey protein isolate is a good supplementation choice for athletes needing additional protein. The diet may fall short for our endurance athletes because of the volume of carbohydrates and type of carbohydrates needed to fuel their performance. High energy availability carbohydrates are prohibited on the diet, as are hydration solutions that contain glucose. For our strength and power athletes, they also have the carbohydrate requirements, especially having enough to replenish glycogen stores after lifting and exercising. Protein supplementation may be an issue, although the diet allows access to many protein sources. Whey protein isolate is a very effective supplement for enhancing muscle protein synthesis, and that is not permitted on the paleo diet. Overall, this diet may be problematic for our athletes. Carbohydrate intake is way too low to support any sort of high training volume. Also, it's an issue that high energy availability carbohydrate sources, such as processed foods, are prohibited on the diet as they are needed to fuel performance during games and races. Protein supplementation may be difficult for our strength and power athletes, though there are high protein foods available with a high leucine content other than whey protein isolate. Overall caloric intake may be too low because of the high volume of fiber in the diet, and it may be difficult to achieve full glycogen restoration with recovery, again, because of the prohibition against high energy availability carbohydrate sources. Overall, the diet has a lot of benefits and may be beneficial to a non-athletic population, but fails to fully support the nutritional needs of athletes. Here are the references. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.